Hey, I'm Bob. I've been totally blind since birth, and I'm into anime and video games. I wanted to discuss the BlazBlue franchise for a few minutes. So, how did I get into the franchise? Well, during holiday season of 2017, I was looking for a fighting game, which I hadn't tried yet. Preferably a fighting game in which all of the big bads were playable. So, needless to say, BlazBlue Central Fiction, the first BlazBlue game I came across, that one stood out as my monotone screen reading program was trying to make the features of the game sound as exciting as it could as I was perusing Amazon.com. Then I started to navigate around BlazBlue's wiki pages. I read about characters such as Hades Izanami, Nine the Phantom, Yuki Terumi, and his various forms you can play as in Central Fiction. The wiki pages even describe, to some extent, the distortions, the exceed excels, and the astral finishes in BlazBlue. So I knew I needed to grab Central Fiction for Christmas that year. I think it was even sold at a discount around holiday season in 2017. I want to say the price was shaved off just a wee bit, so I couldn't pass that up. And after I got the game, I downloaded the DLC characters like Mai and Jubei. I unlocked Susano'o, I guess you'd call him the final form of Yuki Terumi via the story mode, and I've been enjoying the franchise ever since. So I tend to play Central Fiction in a different way. I've had to go back and have my screen reading program narrate every single character's moveset from the wiki pages into a recording device that I own. Because there may be text to speech through the accessibility features on home screens where PS4 and PS5 are concerned, but they don't go any further than that. You have to braille out or record your move sets via online articles or wiki pages for most video games. So yeah, I've had my screen reading program narrate every moveset into a recording device, and whenever I want to pick up and play a character, or when I need a refresher course concerning all the moves they do, I boot up the little device and have my screen reading program narrate each moveset at one of the fastest speeds that I can stand. Since I've owned this particular screen reader for over 24 years now, I think, I can stand some pretty fast speeds. When it comes to actually brailing things out in Central Fiction, I brailled out the track listing because this game boasts a massive amount of music that you can select after you select your character and your colors. I've also brailled out the stage menu. Sometimes I'll let the default setting do the work, and sometimes I'll pick a stage that I'd like to fight at. So I knew from the get-go that Central Fiction was not going to have an English dub. But I've gone back and I have read article after article after article online via my screen reader trying to piece together story mode in Central Fiction. I've watched YouTube video after YouTube video in which folks have done their best to summarize this sprawling story mode. But I mean, this thing is huge, and folks they've got other things to do. And they get to a certain point in the story mode, and I've seen people be like, okay, I can't finish this. It's a crazy amount of work to do. I mean, that's as far as I've gotten. I don't think we're ever going to get an English dub. There is no text to speech in Central Fiction, so I can't just read the English text that pops up on the screen whenever the characters are speaking in Central Fiction. So I've just kind of got to go with the super duper abridged version. Now, when it comes to the English dubs for the older titles, I've gone back and I've watched all of them. I've started with Calamity Trigger, worked my way up through Chrono Phantasma Extend, and I've really enjoyed them. One of the things that stood out to me in the English dubs is the insane amount of work that voiceover actress Christina V has put into each Murakumo unit. I mean, she has to go from New 13, who is more than a little insane, then she's got to dial it back when she's voicing Lambda 11. And Lambda, she kind of sounds similar to a certain screen reading program I'm all too familiar with. But of course, Lambda has a lot more heart than that. And she also has to voice Noelle Vermillion, that is Mew 12, and Noelle is kind of right in the middle where it comes to heart and emotion. So, I mean, yeah, that's one of the things that really stood out in terms of the English dub. I like the Japanese voices too. If I could only, have a text-to-speech thing reading whatever they're saying during the fights in Central Fiction, that would also be cool, because the folks who designed Central Fiction and all the other BlazBlue games, I mean, they don't just do, voice work for the arcade runs and story mode. There is, of course, I'm sure most of you already know this, character-specific dialogue whenever you select them for matches. So I'd love to know what's being said during matches featuring Ragna and Susano'o, or Ragna and Yuki Terumi in Central Fiction, because I'm sure they have quite a few interesting things to say to each other as the match progresses, as you're activating your overdrive and doing your exceed excel and all that. I think Ragna says something about BlazBlue activate whenever he's doing his. But yeah, I think the voice work in these games is such a huge part of it, and it's such a big deal for me, be it in English or Japanese. I think I like both. I'd like to sit down one of these days and make an attempt to learn the Japanese language before I die. That's certainly one thing I'd love to have done on my bucket list, but it's such an extensive language. It's a very beautiful language, though, and I think worth taking a look at and worth learning. So if I had to pick a favorite character, man, I have no idea. I really like all of the Mirakumo units. There's just something about being able to summon a giant sword to finish off your opponent that's really cool. It reminds me of the Megazord from Power Rangers, the way they would finish their opponent off with a giant sword. And robots are really cool, Gotta give it to the robots. I like Makoto a lot. The way she punches you to the moon as part of her astral finish. It's a really fun character. Yuki Terumi is awesome too. He kind of reminds me of BlazBlue's version of the Joker. Every bad thing that has happened to every character in BlazBlue is, well, it's Terumi's fault. So his various forms are also fun to play with. I think each one of them brings something different to the table. And it's just so cool how they've designed different movesets for Hazama and Yuki and Susano'o. Of course, in Central Fiction, Hazama's his own boy now, but I mean, yeah, I think Jubei actually sees Hazama's spirit whenever he pulls off his astral finish, according to something I heard on YouTube. I couldn't even find that on the wiki pages, so there's some things that I learn on YouTube that the wikis just don't describe. There's so much I have yet to look at when it comes to the BlazBlue franchise. This is such a huge and sprawling metropolis when it comes to story and characters. So I can't wait to see what they come up with next. I hope we're not done after Central Fiction. I'd love to see more fighting games. And hopefully I'll be doing some more videos in which I play with the characters in Central Fiction. I really need to buy Cross Tag Battle. I know there are some BlazBlue characters in that game, and we do get an English dub, so I'll have an easier time understanding what is said. And I think all the DLC is out for that now, so I should get around to doing that. Maybe we could do some stuff on this channel where it comes to versus mode, going up against the CPU, maybe doing some story mode, that kind of stuff. If I can. I don't know if Arc System Works will ask me to take the content down. They haven't so far with BlazBlue, so that's worked out all right. Anywho, that'll do for this video. Hopefully it's not too long, and I will hear you guys in the next BlazBlue related video. Have a great day.